Hello, this is Salvador Das, and I'll be presenting on what cybersecurity is and the issues facing experts within the field. The basic overview about this PowerPoint presentation is going to be what is cybersecurity, the main issues facing experts within this field, some statistics, stories, and cost related to it, preventative measures one can take to protect themselves from cyber attacks, and how to become a cybersecurity analyst yourself. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the practice of defending your computer, server, mobile device, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks. Its main goal is to prevent data from getting into the hands of cyber criminals and hackers, with the goal of essentially preventing any of that from happening at all times. Since data is its main goal of protecting, data recovery is also an aspect of cybersecurity, mainly in case of physical damage such as fire, water damage, or physical damage like kicking or dropping hardware devices or computer in general, or from cyber criminals actually managing to gain access to your computer, trying to actually retrieve that data in the case of either the hackers trying to delete it all or ransoming and holding it for hostage. Another goal of cybersecurity is essentially end user education, which is a fancy way of saying trying to educate people into being more cautious while they're using the internet, receiving emails, or doing anything that seems a little bit fishy in regards to protecting, all in the name of protecting the computer and data from individuals that should not see it. The main issues facing experts in the field can be split up into three cyber threats. Cybercrime is essentially when an individual or a group in general is targeting a system for financial gain or to cause disruption or to just gain information from it. Cyber attack, which is usually politically motivated, but often is the result of state-sponsored attacks in the hopes of gathering information either from a government site or some medical or some pharmaceutical company in the hopes of either gaining some new information to either sell to the highest bidder or for their own government to use. And finally, there's cyber terrorism. It's a case where they're trying to undermine electronic systems to cause panic or fear within society. Usually this is done by attacking power grids or social media applications in the hopes of cutting off communications between people. This is usually done through methods of malware, which is essentially malicious software trying to gain information from your computer or disrupt it. It takes multiple forms, such as ransomware, where it locks users out of their data and files, usually in the hope with the threat of erasing it all, unless some monetary value is usually met, usually in the form of Bitcoin, as that is an untraceable form of currency. Spyware, where cyber criminals usually what is it called? when they're secretly recording the user, usually in the hopes of gaining access to credit card information or litigious type of videos or pictures. There's Trojans, where the malware disguises itself as a legitimate software in hopes of tricking the user into downloading it. Usually involves ransomware or spyware. And there's viruses, where essentially it's a self-replicating program in the hope that is spread throughout the computer in hopes of either throttling the CPU or completely crashing the computer. There's also structured language query injections, which is just a long-winded way of saying a cyber attack used to take control of databases and steal data from it, usually by exploiting vulnerabilities within applications or servers. Then there's phishing, which is a form of social engineering where cyber criminals either send emails or phone calls in the hopes of sounding like a legitimate company or government agency in the hopes of getting sensitive information from individuals by either sounding scary or professional. There's man-in-the-middle attacks, which are usually happens in public Wi-Fi centers where cyber criminal hacks into communication between two users through the Wi-Fi, through the local Wi-Fi or the public Wi-Fi. Then there's denial of service attacks, similar to DDoSing, where computer systems inundate with multiple requests from a single or multiple computers in the hopes of either throttling the server or completely crashing it, preventing any user from using it. Other issues that are facing the experts within this field is that there's a lack of them, either due to lack of interest in the field or not meeting the credentials to actually be in the field. Social engineering, which we discussed before, which is phishing or phone calls made in the guise of being either legitimate companies or government agencies. Your Internet of Things attack, which is just a fancy way of saying that since multiple devices that we use in modern lives require internet connections or Bluetooth connections, it opens a user up to multiple avenues of attack, either through unprotected Wi-Fi passwords or unprotected Bluetooth signals. State-sponsored attacks, which in recent years have resulted in either disinformation or election meddling, as some people have called it. This has also resulted in the Chinese government being accused of stealing pharmaceutical information in Houston, in Texas, resulting in the Houston Chinese consulate being closed down as of recent years. But the biggest concern to the experts is essentially people, as people are either too naive, too trusting, or not knowledgeable enough to see the dangers that actually lurk out there from clicking on emails or other suspicious websites. As in this example, our friend Harold has clicked a link to get a free iPhone and has resulted in his bank account being hacked and possibly all his money being stolen. Some statistics from Verizon in 2020 has found 52 breaches usually feature some form of hacking. 28% of these breaches also involve some form of malware, and 32 to 30% those breaches usually is a result of phishing or social engineering methods to gain sensitive information. In 2019, they found 94% of malware was delivered via email. The Common Volume Brilliant Exploit Database has found that 11,000 exploits in commonly used systems and software is still readily out there, and 34% of it has no known patch to it. The University of Maryland has found in 2019 that every 39 seconds a hacker attacks, and this averages out to 244 times a day. But since coronavirus has resulted in many people locking down and having remote access to their jobs, many people, this statistic most likely increases, opens people up to more possible attacks from cyber criminals and hackers. Some recent stories that have happened in the past few years is that in 2017, nearly 150 million consumers were affected by the Equifax breach, resulting in their Social Security information, banking information getting lost. In 2016, 3 billion Yahoo accounts were hacked, result being one of the biggest breaches of all time, and hasn't been found out until late 2018, early 2019, resulting in many users' data being breached without their knowledge, as Yahoo was embarrassed about it. Twitter was hacked on July 15th of this year, compromising many famous politicians and celebrity accounts such as Obama, Joe Biden, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. Most of these hacks resulted in these people requesting Bitcoin exchange for either more money or stuff like that, resulting in, according to multiple news outlets, into nearly $50,000, close to $100,000 in Bitcoin being transferred to them. Earlier this year, Miami police departments and multiple school districts had ransomware injected into the computers or found on the computers, resulting in much of the data being lost, and many schools' data being stolen by these hackers and criminals. Accuterror has found that the average malware attack results in a company losing $2.6 million per attack. Cybersecurity Ventures has found that $6 trillion will be the annual cost of cyber crimes from 2021 onwards. The Equifax breach has cost $4 billion, and most likely more, as a lot more lawsuits are coming out against the company. IBM has found that $3.9 million is the average cost of a data breach to any company. Healthcare being the most costly, as the longer the hack remains, it costs $429 per second. The cost to the average business is roughly $1.42 million. So that's a discrepancy between them and Accuterror, but it's still a large sum of money for it. But if it's going to be costing a large sum of money, how do we prevent certain things from happening? One of the main things one can do is update your passwords. Make sure that they're strong, long, and complicated. And make sure you do not use them on multiple accounts, as if one of your passwords is found out and similar to other ones, it will result in all of them getting found out. Getting some antivirus software onto your computer, as most of them can find Trojans or malware within it and are constantly updated and renewed on what type of malware is out there. This you can use either Windows Defender or Malwarebytes for this sort of method. The main thing: do not open email attachments from unknown senders. Make sure, as most of this most likely contains either some form of malware, either in the form of Trojans or in the form of viruses. Try to avoid Wi-Fi networks that are in public places. But if one cannot, use a VPN, a virtual private network, to help you with that, as it uses it connects you to multiple servers around the globe in the hopes of masking your IP and preventing the hackers from getting a clean shot to your computer. Recommended ones are NordVPN for its speed and CyberGhost for its more robust method of bouncing around signals. It takes a little bit longer, it's a little bit slower, but it's more secure in that way. Always back up your data, as it prevents ransomware situations from being too costly. And most of all, keep your software updated and your computer updated. Most of the time, when exploits or other viruses are found, software updates usually find a way to patch it, or at least prevent it from happening more readily across all users within the product line, or who use the products within the product line. Since it's becoming such a major threat, this cybersecurity analyst and related fields are going to become more readily available and more spread out, requiring more people to be involved in it. To become one, you need a bachelor's degree in computer science, computer programming, computer engineering, or any related field within the system. It's great to start out, or it's most beneficial to start out with some IT experience, as all cybersecurity careers require some formula to understand it. The following job listings or job titles are great things to look out for in case they're job hunting to become a cybersecurity analyst: system, database, web, network, and security administrators, web developers, IT technicians, network engineers, computer software engineers. Anything related to working on programming in general will help out a lot in trying to find a job like this. But with that being said, we at least trying to become a cybersecurity analyst seems to be the most prevalent thing that people can actually look forward to, and it's something that will be beneficial to all, as you will be involved in a career path that will hopefully save billions of people, billions to nearly trillions of dollars in the future. So if you do anything, or you can't decide on what job to look out for, try becoming a cybersecurity analyst. There's a shortage in the supply of them, and we need a lot more, especially with the coming years and the entire COVID thing as well. With that being said, that concludes my presentation on cybersecurity and its issues. Thank you for your time, and hope you have a wonderful day.